I know the oil and gas interest people were very much into changing eminent domain to aid them in getting their pipelines run. And I was thinking, golly, why don't we make state insurance, state employee insurance, also eminent domain? Those people need insurance just like the gas and oil people need pipelines. So why not make a compromise there? I don't understand why that wasn't done. Other questions for you. I see drug problems, and the more that we could stimulate or help in that area, we'd certainly like to do that.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's actually one of my major things that I've talked about when people talk about improving education, is that I have a class of 19 right now, and I'd say 12 of them have been affected in one way or another by drugs.
Sure.
Yeah. So in order to, I think, improve our education system, we have to address that drug issue, because we're getting these children who are raised in families where it's predominant. They go home and they don't know who's going to be there for them. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. I have kids who have no idea where they're sleeping at night. You know, it's really sad. And they keep saying, you know, teacher raises. You guys deserve a raise. We need higher test scores. Well, if we want higher test scores, we need kids that come to school that are only worried about scoring well on a test.
Sure.
These kids are coming to school with, you know, like I said, when am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep? Who's picking me up? Where's mom? It's really sad. So that opioid crisis is big time, a big time problem. I have related that also to our insurance, PEIA. I mentioned to the PEIA task force that why can't we tax these large pharmaceutical companies? Just tax them so many cents per hydrocodone tablet, per oxycodone tablet that is dispensed from a pharmacy. You know, if they pay, you know, 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents per pill, not the consumer, but the companies. And we could use that as revenue for something. For PEIA, we could use it for childhood cancer research, which we need a lot of. So, you know, there's a lot of, and that may stop them from pushing it so much. You know, these companies push it on doctors to push it on patients, and then it's dispensed, and then all of a sudden they're cut off from it. It's really sad. But just seeing it from the classroom, the kids, and things they've said, and things they've told me, we've been talking about a drug unit, it's been really eye-opening. Really, I've had a student whose mom just passed away recently, and they make comments such as, well, why would you use drugs? It makes you lazy and uncaring. It makes you not care about your kids. This is what,
that's
you know,
the perspective of the
that's
kids.
their perspective. Yes, it's so sad. So until we can get them to just focus on their schoolwork, then, you know, they're not going to score well. Now, as for that question you asked about job training, I think that's great. We push kids in the direction of college so often. Not every kid is ready exactly for college, you know. I know that jobs do require college sometimes, but there are also
lots for
yes,
with 2-year
lots of
degrees
trades.
and training programs.
So I think at the high school level, you know, I know Point Pleasant has the vocational school. I'm not sure what kind of classes they still offer. I know what they offered when I was there.
Yeah, and it's gone downhill. That's just our county. I don't know how the vocational, if it's county by county, but I do think that the vocational program in the state could use a boost. Whether, I mean, from our perspective here in Mason County, I don't know if it's better in other counties or not.
Right.
But the state level could be pushing that or have
More some sort of
emphasis,
incentive
right,
for each county. Yeah,
right,
I agree.
to move to provide that, because there is so much that they could provide.
And our state depends on those industries. You know, so why not? But that's a good question. I need to look into that a little bit more. It's not really something that I've really thought a whole lot about. So that's
Right.
great. That's a great perspective. I think it's a good one. Okay.
Just in general, if there's a way to take high school graduates or those even starting in high school and bring them into plumbing or
Mhm.
house construction,
Mhm.
electrical technicians,
Mhm.
if there's a way to bolster whatever education they're getting
Yeah.
to prepare them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That would also improve our economy.
Yes.
Well, and there does seem to be such a need for skilled people. Like you you want to call someone to come and fix your house or your plumbing or something, and there seems to be a need for that. But those people also need to know how to run a business
Mhm.
to be able to, be in
Good
business.
point.
So
Yes.
I think vocational still does the business classes, but maybe the kids don't see themselves as
Mhm.
running a business.
So and it may be an elective,
Mhm.
not a requirement.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
We have 3 automobiles between us, and it seems like one of them's always breaking down.
Uh-huh.
And boy, to find people that can work on those cars,
That you can trust.
I mean, there looks to me like there's a pretty good business out there
Mhm.
for troubleshooting and mechanics and electronics.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, and our mechanic says he has trouble getting people that can work for him, that will show up to work, and so,
Okay.
And I am, but beside our church up here, there is I guess you call it a halfway house or something.
Mhm.
There's people there that are looking for work every day. And if somehow we could parlay that, I mean, that's a resource.
Mhm.
If we could parlay that into meeting the needs of our families in Mason County. There's people looking for work, so there's kind of a gap there.
yeah, well,
Boy, if
we
could-
don't know their skills, that's the thing.
Yeah, I know. Just-
Yeah. But it says something
Something-
that they're
Yeah.
looking for work.
Oh, yeah. I
Right.
dropped copies of the Charleston paper, one ads that have a job, somebody's looking for help, and I give that to
That's good.
when I've
good.
spoken to those people, hey, I can do this, tree service or whatever. So, but there's a lot of needs and a lot of
Yes.
hurts out there.
Yes. I agree with
If we
that.
could kind of help that come together, it'd be great.
It would be great to help all aspects that we need.
Mhm.
But we know that's not realistic, We just have to try to fix it the best we can.
Right,
No?
you have to
Yes,
prioritize and be working
yes.
each year, that this, one thing that I think we ran across that surprised us during the strike was that the legislature had passed certain laws in previous years, and then they hadn't been followed through, and it makes you wonder, well, then what is a law?
Right.
So, I
Yes,
mean,
we talked about that.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And it came up again last night at the MCEA meeting, the fact that a couple of years ago, they had said, well, we want to, and I guess they were just, it was written as a law, but it was more of goals, that there was going to be so many raises, and by such and such, by 2019, teachers were to be at this, and then it just never transpired, and I'm not really sure how that happened. And we were talking about the Arizona teachers getting, what was it, something like 20% raise or some big
20%,
amount
it
that
was
surprised
yes.
us. But then they said, no, it's 9% now, and then so much, and I said, well, then they don't know what we know, which is that those later years may not come along.
It's not a guarantee. Right.
So that's surprising to me. And so, I would hope that the legislators would find out, that you would find out more about how that works exactly, and then tell the rest of us.
Well, that would be great. So what you're saying, Elaine, is that they're not being held accountable for things that they're saying they're going to do.
Yes,
After they're elected.
yes.
Yeah. So, if you draw this up as a bill or a law
Uh-huh.
and don't follow through with it, is it really a law?
And is it,
Right,
and
or
if
is
it
it really-
passes,
Uh-huh.
then yeah, what happens?
Mhm.
And yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I'm sure there's fine print in there that says, and I'm thinking that I read this somewhere.
Uh-huh.
It says it's pending on if the money availability of funds.
Oh.
So,
But when it's told in the news, they don't
It's
say
just
that.
said, yay, we're
Yeah.
getting this and this and this.
Yes.
Without the asterisk. Now, I
Yeah.
might be wrong there, but I was thinking that.
Depending
that I
on the
had looked at
budget in future years,
Mhm.
right?
And it depends on that. And they can always rearrange that however they want for it to say, well, we don't have it right now because we had to use this for that, or we need to save.
Right.
Yeah. So that's.
And there was an awful lot of money talk that went on during the strike that, we're going to have to cut this serious thing or this serious thing, and then it turns out they aren't going to have to, and they shift things around, and
Right,
it's-
from one day to the next, it was we have this in right here, but no, we don't. We have to use it for that. You're right. Yeah. So it would be nice to know why that's not, something that people are held accountable for. If you
Right.
say this is what you're going to do, or if you say this is where we're
Uh-huh.
pulling it from, why can't you do that?
right.
I agree. I remember we had talked about that during that time of several legislators had said, well, stood up in the House or in the Senate and said, well, we had said that it was here, so why don't we have that now? I remember nobody had an answer for it, and that was on the
Right.
floor.
Right.
I remember that. Yeah. So, well, I want to be a representative who can sit down and talk to people and actually take your ideas back with me. I'm not listening to big companies and what I can do for them, which is a lot of the problem with our legislators, I think, is they get those big donors and they feel like they owe them something. I'm not doing that. I wanna talk to our community members and see, if I don't know something, I don't know everything, absolutely not. I want to learn and have people like you tell me, this is what we need, or this is what I'm seeing, and this is what we need to do. And I'm gonna focus on, Mason County and Jackson County and Putnam County. That's what I need to do because that's the people that I'm going to be representing. And I
Right.
don't feel like a lot of times that's what happens. So you guys keep in touch with me and make sure you let me know anything that I can do. I'm pretty in it with the education part, but everything else, I have got to have a good idea.
And you're limited somewhat if you get elected as to what committee you're working on.
Right.
But I suppose you also can work behind the scenes with other people that are on other committees.
Yeah, I think you can. And that's
Uh-huh.
something I have to research a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
But you can do things, you just cannot be in the committee meetings.
You don't vote or whatever.
Yes, yeah. So, all that stuff, I'm still learning. I'm still learning that. I've educated myself a lot on it, but we can always learn more. We can learn more about how it works. One thing I'm hearing a lot of is that I don't know law as well as a lawyer. I'm hearing a lot of that, and that's not really that important, honestly, because you have lawyers up there working that are assigned to each committee, that are assigned to you. If you have any trouble or any problems, they're
Right.
gonna step in.
Right.
So we have plenty of lawyers. We have
Right.
plenty of businessmen.
Staff people that are going to help write the actual.
Yes, exactly. So that's not not an issue. But that's what I've mostly heard a lot from sitting senators who are lawyers. That I don't know law. Well, I know how law's made. I used to watch Schoolhouse Rock when we were kids, So, but no, it's I'm just kidding. But it can actually, it works to my favor in that because you do have somebody assigned to you if you have any trouble.
And they may not know education.
Exactly.
Like you know education.
That's my point. How many lawyers do you need in the Senate? How many businessmen? We don't have any teachers. We need
Yeah.
somebody who understands that you cannot truly understand what education needs without being in the inside and understanding and seeing it for yourself.
Right.
Boots on the ground.
It's easy to have opinions. This whole big push to make education run like a business it has been just
We're
hard
not-
on lots of
right.
states.
These are little humans.
Right.
We're dealing with humans. You can't
Right.
you can't do that. I always say, I used a nice little story the other day. Do you guys know what a deadheading pilot is? On an airline. Okay, so there's a pilot who will fly on an airline that he works for free to a destination. Granted that he's there in case something should happen, he would take over the plane. Okay, but he flies for free because of that. And I said, you know, imagine we're on an airplane together, and the pilot becomes incapacitated, and you have a deadheading pilot who's dressed in plain clothes, but he says, I'm a pilot for airlines, or you have a passenger who says, hey, I'm a lawyer, but I also fly planes. You know, who do you want landing that plane? Somebody who's actually been in that cockpit. So I think, you know, same thing with education. Who do you want making decisions for your kids in public education? Somebody who's actually been there. You know, it's easy to say, well, this is what should be done, or this is what should be done, but until you've been there, you don't know.
Yeah.
And then anybody else's would be. I'd greatly appreciate your support. In November 2018, vote Amy Nicole Grady for Senate, District 4. Thank you.